Welcome to the LePlatt's Pond virtual tour. If you're watching this video, it's likely that you have caught us during our off season. So this is the experience that you would get if you were to tour in person. As you would have seen pulling down through the ranch, we grow hops for local breweries, and that makes for a beautiful photo op for our couples. As your guests make their way down past the hay fields, they will be greeted by our staff, which then parks them along the river bottom here. And once they've made their way from the vehicle to the venue, this is sort of a general meet and greet area. Here are our restrooms, which we can take a peek inside. As your guests arrive, we like to put the guest book table or gift table situated right here, so it's sure not to be missed. And they'll make their way in the tent. This is our cake table. Depending on what kind of sweets you're serving, this is a great section for that. And then in this corner, we like to do the buffet because it's situated right next to what we call the catering tent. Caterers have their own sort of hidden space to do all the prep work behind the scenes, and your guests are really just getting that finished product, whether it's a buffet or it's a plated dinner. This is sort of the space that we like to use for that. So you can kind of see back here, it's just an extra 10 by 10 space with its own opening to the outside, so the caterers can access from the road without having to come through the entire space where your guests are sitting and eating. Now over here, we've got the dance floor situated right in the middle of the whole tent. So everybody has a beautiful view of what's happening on the dance floor. And this is our DJ and band tent. You'll see that the chandeliers, they're decorated, the liner and the decor stays up with the tent, and so none of that is extra. What's really neat about the lighting, even the perimeter lights that you can see around the edge of the tent, is that it's all based off of a dimmer switch. So you can have it really bright during dinner, and then you can sort of dim it down during dancing. You'd be amazed at how many more people will dance if it's just a little bit darker. And over here, we have our bar. So this is a great space, kind of the same theory as with the catering tent. Your guests are just getting the finished product instead of seeing the coolers and the ice and the keg shells and everything, which can all be behind the scenes with your bartender. The way that it works for the bar here at LePlatt's Pond is we do not have a liquor license, and so you can serve your guests whatever alcohol you would like to, as long as you are not charging for it. So it has to be an open bar, and it has to be served by a ServSafe certified bartender, which every bartender in the state of Colorado is required to be. On booking, we will provide you with a recommended vendors list. It is not a required vendors list, but it's just a recommendation of the best in the area that we feel confident in referring to you. So you'll see a selection of caterers, florists, DJs or musicians, bartenders, officiants, bakers, transportation, you name it. Now, while you're not required to shop from that list, it's a really great jumping off spot for you to sort of get a feel for what vendors are in the area and who we highly recommend. Here in the opening of the tent is where we like to situate the sweetheart table, which is sort of the modern day version of a traditional head table. We like to sort of reserve the tables that are directly around the sweetheart table for the immediate family or your bridal party. And that way, when it's time to do toasts and whatnot, the photographer is getting this gorgeous background of the two of you. Everybody is situated, close enough together, and your bridal party gets to sit with their significant other as opposed to up in a traditional head table. We can absolutely do a head table if that's what your heart desires. Just keep in mind that it takes up a lot more space and you're gonna need a lot more linens. And to be honest with you, you're lucky if you're sitting down for 15 minutes during the dinner portion, just long enough to eat, because you're gonna be so busy celebrating. So let's take a peek outside. Just directly outside of the tent, we have our fire pit lounge, which is a great space for people that wanna step outside and get some fresh air, but still feel like they're a part of all of the festivities happening inside. We've had couples do a s'mores bar for the kiddos, or maybe even a couple of baskets with quilts to just really make this a cozy area. And as you can see, we have starlight streamers drizzled throughout all of the trees. So as soon as the sun goes down, the outside of the venue is still a really beautiful space for your guests to enjoy. Just directly outside of the tent, we have the ceremony site, which is situated right on the edge of our 10-acre pond. And you'll see we have hand-carved log benches and a willow arbor, which we've planted hops around the base of. And so they kind of grow up and over the top. They're just really beautiful. And obviously it depends on the time of year you're getting married. But this is being filmed the middle of September, so that gives you an idea. The log benches comfortably seat up to 200 guests. And the arbor can be decorated however you'd like. So we've had some florists that'll do, a spray of flowers here. We've seen chandeliers hanging from the inside, potted flowers at the base, sometimes flowers all the way through, or sometimes just all natural, just like it is with the hops growing over the top. So as you make your way over to the water's edge, you'll see that we have horseshoe pits. We also have cornhole that says bride and groom, which is just really fun for you're having a cocktail hour, or you want something for your guests to do. We have a bridge that sort of leads to a little, what we call the finger. And there's several benches situated on that side of the stream. Your guests can really sit down and be right up next to the water. It's also a beautiful location for photos. Our coordinator will meet with you either in person here at the venue or sometimes virtually, depending on where you're located and what's easiest for you. She'll meet with you at the 30-day out mark and discuss all of the details that you've put together so far, who you've hired, what your vision is, what you want the day to look like, all the special little touches. And then she spends the next 2 weeks plugging that information into our timeline. And then we meet with you again at the 2-week out mark. And that's when you sort of make any final changes. Once you have okayed and approved the timeline as perfect, ready to go, she will send it to all of the vendors. Every vendor gets their own customized timeline. If possible, we like to schedule the rehearsal for the day before the wedding and really just take that stress off so that you and your family can be a guest at your own event. Our coordination team is first to arrive bright and early on the morning of your wedding to do all of the setup on your behalf. So all of the linens, any of the decor that you have left behind at the rehearsal for us to set the following day. At the end of the evening, our team does all of the cleanup for you so that you can either go back to the honeymoon suite and relax or head downtown to carry the party on. But essentially, we will break down everything and package up all of your personal belongings to be picked up the following morning. All of our packages include 2 nights stay at the loft at LePlatt's, which is located here on the ranch. Thanks for coming along on a little walk-through virtual tour of the LePlatt's Pond wedding venue. I hope you loved what you saw. Please don't hesitate to reach out. All of our contact information will be linked below. We really hope that this might be the first chapter of your ever after here at the pond.